Hello and welcome to SGS Stalingrad. This tutorial focuses on teaching you how to use the air artillery bombardment mechanics, as well as a short explanation of stacking filters and other filters that we find over here. So to begin, filters are a very important part of the game, as they do help to give more information to the player. For example, we can reduce the size of the map, we can search for units, regions, structures, as we so wish, we can zoom out, we can also go to stacks that have not yet moved, like so. These units over here will become quite important shortly. We can go ahead and click on this filter, which I nicknamed the political control filter, essentially to show you what the Axis and what the Soviets currently control at this moment in time. This area over here is grayed out due to it not being in the scenario here at present. We also have the supply filter. Green represents supply. These areas are in supply. These areas are not in Axis supply. This would apply for the Soviets with the reverse colors. We also importantly have the air stacking filter. Now, what this means is how many aircraft could actually be in one tile. This is important as units have stacking. So for example, we see here that the aircraft have currently 0. This will be amended in a later version. I'm currently using development build, but in a later version they will have at least 1. So this is just a development build issue currently. This will be at least 1 in the live build, so bear that in mind. We also have stacking value for artillery as well, which we'll go ahead and take a look at shortly. Now, we have stacking for ground forces too. Artillery shares the same stacking as air, and we'll show you how that mechanic works shortly. So what we're going to go ahead and do here then is get right on into that. So, what we need to go ahead and do then to begin with is take a look at the artillery that we have. Now, we have here the 29th Division Artillery, and to actually have artillery fire, we need to understand how artillery works within SGS Stalingrad. If we go ahead and click over here, we generate ourselves a divisional artillery fire counter. You can see that this has an air movement of 3, and this is why it uses air stacking, as it's to help represent the fact that it can move over tiles without operating under the same rules as ground units. You can see that it has an attack and defense of 8, and yes, represents division artillery, fire support, destroyed after use. We'll go ahead and show how this works in the battles, so do go ahead and take a look at that tutorial when it becomes available. Now currently you can see here that moving outside of this box costs us 1 movement, moving into here costs us an additional movement there. That is important to remember when using these, because they only have a certain amount of range. Now, for example, if I wanted to go ahead and have it drop down upon the Soviets over here, I'm unable to do so, and that is due to the fact that it doesn't have the movement range. When I right-click on the counter, you can see the movement range here. If I was to go ahead and click, for example, over here, it would move over that side. So it's a useful little tip there to remember. It does really help to speed things up. It also allows you to see exactly where you can go. So, for example, with our aircraft over here, I could go ahead and have them go down like so, the manual way. But we all don't have all the time in the world. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is right-click on the air stack, and I'm going to go ahead and have them brought in over here. Green indicates essentially this is a area where there is no problems. This is friendly territory. Over here, if I go ahead and bring them over to this position, we'll be able to go ahead and show that. So as you can see, we do have the air power. And as you can see, if we move in here, with this orange filter, it will engage in battle. They will become stuck there. They will engage here, but they will not be able to move anywhere else. And in this current phase, they'll not be able to move. Over here again, if I move over here, it indicates that enemy air presence is detected. So they are not necessarily going to become stuck here, but they are likely to be subjected to A. But it is likely that they would become stuck here due to there being ground units over here. So bear that one in mind. So what I'm going to go ahead and do then is have the air power operate. I'll go ahead and have a Stuka committed over here to the Battle of the Grain Elevator, and I believe one over here at the train station number 2. So we have air usage explained and how to move air. Do bear in mind that the stacking value will be changed in the live version, so remember that one. You can see here almost no combat impact, but use of support troops and observe enemy forces. Though it can allow you to use cards that can help to swing the course of battle, so very useful to have. It does also give us a search bonus and a siege bonus, so quite useful to have there. They definitely do play a role. Stukas, on the other hand, being a dive bomber squadron, a close air support squadron, they do have a pretty hefty role in the battle here, with 8 attack, 8 defense. They also can importantly attack sea, as the Soviets will have naval assets to cross the Volga, so do bear that in mind. A very good unit, very good for taking on tanks, very good on taking on most things really. But how do we want to support our forces over here at the grain elevator and at the southern train station? Well, we'll use artillery fire. We'll take the 94th Division over here, drag the 94th Artillery Division counter, and we'll have it support our forces over here at the grain elevator. Now do note over here in friendly territory that we have a arrow to indicate that is going to move here. The crosshairs represents the fact that it is going to engage in the battle, as there's a battle already taking place, as you can see here and here, but not here. So move that in there. We'll do the same over here with the 24th Artillery, and I'll have that move in support the grain elevator. That is all the artillery that we have immediately available here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do then is check out the core level artillery. Now, remember, we have divisional level artillery, which you have over here. This is on-map artillery. We have off-map artillery, which is represented by assets at core level, army level, essentially artillery batteries not assigned to a division, more so spread across multiple divisions, able to support forces here on the front. So we have a Nebelwerfer artillery regiment. We also have a artillery regiment over here. And as you can see, they also have air movement, and they are subject to air stacking. You can see that we also have 8 attack and 8 defense. So what I'm going to go ahead and do then is select them both. And I could do the same as I did with the air power and drag them like so, but I'm not going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to click on them with the right click, then have them aside. If I take a look at the stacking filter, so with air power, you can see that due to the fact that we have a artillery counter here and an air counter, we have a stacking of 2. Now, of course, this will have a stacking value in the future. It is just this version where it does not, so disregard that. They will have a stacking value, but the mechanics still apply. Over here it would be 1, but of course the stacking value isn't correct right now. So what we're going to go ahead and do then is have this artillery brought into bear. And I think what I'm going to go ahead and do then is we'll bring it over here for the time being. As you can see on the map, it is moving right now. It's very useful if you click on a unit and you're on the other side of the map. It's very useful. So what I'll go ahead and do is split them. I'll go ahead and show that again. This will be covered in a later tutorial in more depth, but as you can see, when we select one of the 2 over here, I can create a new stack by clicking this button. As said, that will be covered in a tutorial in more depth. So let's assign the artillery. And there we are. So, thank you for watching there, ladies and gentlemen. Hope that's good for you, and see you again. Goodbye for now.